People that have massive goals, massive dreams, and lazy can be some of the most destructive people. Driven Mofos, welcome back to another episode of The Underestimated Entrepreneur. All right, we are talking about some of the most dangerous people that you can have in your inner circle or even surrounding yourself with. And I guarantee you know these types of people well. Who are they? They are people with big goals, big dreams, big visions of the future, who talk a big game, but are lazy. Lazy, ambitious people who want the easy path are some of the most destructive people that you'll have around you. Over the years, I've seen people on social media who are lazy, ambitious people. They're always looking for the shortcut. And so when the crypto thing happened, they all jumped on the bandwagon of crypto. They told all their friends, they told all their family, they told everybody about how they're getting rich, how they're making money, and they sold to other lazy, ambitious people. So then all their family jump onto the crypto bandwagon and most of them lost money. Most of them were the catalyst of losing all their friends and family's money also. Why? Because instead of thinking through things effectively, now if you've been listening to this podcast for a long, long time, I'm not against cryptocurrency. What I'm against is shortcuts. Money is an exchange of value. Everything that we do in life is an exchange of value. Even if you look at gold, gold is a storage of value. Okay, or precious metals are a storage of value. They're essentially somewhere where people park their money. But again, they are used as an exchange. You park your money there and then you exchange the gold and you turn it back into cash again. You use that cash as an exchange of value in order to buy services, products, or you're buying labor. So we use money essentially to purchase labor. That's what it is if you're a business owner, or knowledge and labor in its basic form. So when you start to create shortcuts around that, like I had friends of mine who are all jumping into the crypto markets and they're going, yeah, but it's going to go up in value. But why does it go up in value? It goes up in value because of a perception that it's going to go up in value. So all of these lazy, ambitious people jump on board, they inflate the price, they push it up way over what it's worth. And then eventually people start realizing that it's not worth shit and then it collapses. Now, certain forms of crypto, Bitcoin, I think is slightly different, but most of them didn't, especially back in the day. But lazy, ambitious people drove that market into a balloon or a bubble, which then popped in most cases, not in all, but in some. Then you have a look at NFTs. NFTs came along, essentially it was a JPEG. Someone just created a picture online. Then they told all their friends and family again that everyone's making all this money because of some stupid reason or some stupid theory. I could see this shit from a mile away because I've been studying human behavior for a long, long time. I also studied wealth for a long, long time. These cycles happen over and over and over again that are driven by lazy, ambitious people. They jump on board because fear drives up the value of something. People look at it and they go, well, if I don't get involved, I'm going to miss out. So the fear of missing out, FOMO, causes people to jump into these things. All of a sudden, it causes this massive inflation or an expansion of the value of this product, which really has no value anyway. And then all of a sudden, people realize that it has no value and then it collapses, the bubble pops. And those who got in and got out made a shitload of money. Those who didn't ended up losing not only their money, but friends and family as well who run off of the same thing. So that drives markets. Lazy, ambitious people push market prices up. This is what happens in the property market. It's what happens in the finance market. Normally, it's driven by lazy, ambitious people wanting shortcuts. The value of something is the value of something. So yes, house prices go up. Why? Because more people move into an environment. They want the houses. So therefore, that land or that house is more valuable, especially if it's close to a city or schools or whatever. That is actually a real increase in value. The reason why a share goes up, for example, if you look at something like Starbucks, Starbucks hired a CEO. The CEO was pretty average. The price of that stock went down. All of a sudden, they hire a new CEO who was the CEO of Chipotle. All of a sudden, the share price goes boom, it expands and it goes up. Why? Because the value of the business increased because of the value of the CEO that they put in. And people know that over time, if that CEO makes good decisions, the value of that organization and the value that the organization produces goes up. And so it's worth a higher dollar value. If people just look at the share price and go, well, the share price is going up, therefore it must be more valuable. That's not true. That's a dumb way of thinking about it. That's like saying that, you know, just because I think that my sunglasses are worth more than what they are, then they should just be worth more. And because someone's buying them that it's more expensive, then I better get in and buy them even more expensive. And I'm going to sell mine for more. And all it does, it just creates this inflation. Inflation is like an expansion. So if we think about an inflation, when we inflate a balloon, it expands. So when we're creating an inflation of price, it's because people are rushing in most cases, to buy something where the value's not there. And so you create an artificial inflation, which eventually pops. That's a balloon or it's a bubble. So, lazy, ambitious people, let's come back to it. You probably have friends of yours and family of yours who are looking for shortcuts. Now, why are these people dangerous? I have some friends that I grew up with, and they've always had big goals. They've had big dreams, but they always look for shortcuts. And what happens is they take these shortcuts, and when the shortcuts don't work, they end up imploding. And then what they do is they blame, they complain, and they try to rip people down around them. So a very close friend of mine that I've been friends with for a long, long time, who I've distanced myself from over the last couple of years, he's someone who is lazy, ambitious, always looking for shortcuts, always has a great idea, always has something that he's going to invest in or do. And he does it for a short period of time. And when it doesn't make money immediately, or when he doesn't get rich overnight, then what he does is after 3, 6, 12, 24 months, he dumps the idea and then he jumps into the next thing. Whether it's an investment, whether it's a business idea, he jumps into it and he works really, really hard and he tries to make it work. And then after a while, it doesn't get off the ground as quick as what he wants. And he goes, it can't be that. It's got to be the next thing. But every time he does that, what he does is he destroys relationships with people around him, because he blames everybody else as to why he didn't get rich, as to why he didn't make it. And he's had business failure after business failure after business failure. He's lost investors' money time after time after time again. He's destroyed relationship after relationship after relationship, because when things don't work out, he blames everybody else instead of looking in the mirror and saying, I'm the fucking problem. And he doesn't want to grow. He doesn't want to learn from his mistakes. He just keeps trying to repeat them. And with every loss, he knows that he's wasted time. So now he tries to shortcut even faster in order to get back what he perceives that he's lost. Those types of people are very dangerous. They will use your money if you give it to them, and they will lose your money. And then they're going to blame you, or they're going to blame somebody else as to why it didn't work. Be very, very careful of lazy, ambitious people. These are the people that are always trying to take shortcuts. I would always back someone who's a hard worker, who puts in the effort, who is focused, who has high energy, 100%. Look at Elon Musk. If I was going to back anybody to build a business, it would be that guy. High energy, highly ambitious, takes responsibility and accountability when things don't work, is always trying new things. And most of the time things go wrong, but he keeps working through it. They're the people that you want to back, not the people who just come up with an idea, who have 5 businesses that they've all destroyed and run into the ground, who always have an excuse. If you give those people money, I guarantee they're going to lose your money. But also, if you don't give them money, they're going to blame you. And then they're going to use these different manipulation games where they're going to try to manipulate you into getting money off of you as well. Like, I've had plenty of them over the years who come to me and say, well, you're going to miss out. Well, and they try to drive this scarcity, this fear mongering that if you don't do it, you're going to miss out. Because now, sometimes legitimately people do miss out on things, but not from those types of people. There are plenty of things like, if you went to Elon Musk and he said, hey, do you want to invest in Tesla? And, now you look back, you're like, shit, I did miss out when it was cheaper. Yeah, 100%. But most of the time, that's not what happens, especially with those types of people. What you're going to miss out on is their bullshit. You're going to miss out on them blaming everything, complaining, bitching and moaning. Just be very, very careful. Normally, for most people, the past creates their future. Most people are very, very predictable. So if you have a look at most people's past, it normally leads to their future because they don't change. And if you don't change as a person, your past will become your future. If you're one of these people who are taking shortcuts, who are always looking for quick fixes, who you grow a business, and then if it's not growing fast enough, you start a second business and a third business, and that's a really bad strategy. Don't be lazy and ambitious. Just stay focused on the one thing and make it work. I was having dinner with a friend of mine the other night. He's got a $100 million business. And he said, I don't understand it. He said, do you know how many people in my industry who were good, they're in the building industry, how many people in my industry have now become coaches or business coaches or mindset coaches, and they've gone out and they've started this secondary thing on the side because they think it's a shortcut. He said, I don't fucking get it. In the same time that they've gone out and made $1 million in a coaching business by having a secondary business, he's like, my business has grown by 20, 30, 40 million because I just stayed focused on that thing, and momentum is on his side. And it's a really valuable point. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with these people who go out who want to be coaches. If you want to be a coach and you love being a coach, then go and be a coach. I love being a coach. Coaching is my number one thing. It's the only thing that I do. Yeah, I invest money on the side, but I do that. I only invest money in things where I don't have to take time away from other things in order to manage. Okay, that's not what I do. When I was younger, I had multiple businesses running at the same time and none of them run well. Okay. Now, most people go, yeah, but look at Elon Musk. Elon Musk can afford to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on wages. He can spend $1 million on a top chief financial officer. He can spend $1 million on a chief operating officer. When you're a small business owner and you don't even have a proper manager in your company, you can't go and start another business. If you're doing $2 million in revenue a year and you've started a secondary business, just don't do that, right? Go smack yourself. Okay, bad idea. You want to drive that thing to a 10, 20, 30, $40 million business and then have a top tier management and leadership team so that when you leave the business and go away for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks on holiday, the business doesn't shit the bed and that you don't come back to chaos and carnage. Your goal should be to drive one thing and drive one thing well. Lazy, ambitious people are always looking for shortcuts and they think, if I can make 100 grand, if I start a second business, I can make another 100 grand. Here's the thing. It's easier to get a business from 0 to 100 grand and then 100 grand to $1 million than it is to have 3 businesses all making 100 grand a year. If you just put that extra energy and effort in, you'll push that business forward and you'll make $1 million a year. From most of my friends who are doing over 10 million revenue a year, they will tell you that it's actually easier to make 10 million than it is to make 1. Okay, so you've got to put that energy and that effort in to really push it up to that level. When you start to get 10 million, you can start to have proper management teams and so on. And then as you get to 20 and 30, you'll have proper, probably C-suite level type people coming into your organization when now they will start to run it almost like a business owner, but they're an intrapreneur, which means they work in someone else's business, but they're not entrepreneurial. They're an intrapreneur. So they work in somebody else's business because they don't have the same risk profile as an entrepreneur, but they think like an entrepreneur. So if you're lazy and ambitious, just stick to one thing. Focus is going to be your number one priority. And the other thing is make sure that you don't blame others. Make sure you don't complain about where you're at. Just stay focused. You'll get there. Have gratitude. Think about how far you've come. Look back at your past. Work on your mindset consistently. And you'll get there eventually. I guarantee it. Okay. If you jump around and you try to do too many things all at the same time, you look for shortcuts. Often you're just going to waste time. You're going to waste money. And then you're going to live with a whole bunch of regret. And in order to deal with that, you're going to have to blame everybody else. You'll blame the economy. You'll blame the government. You'll blame friends. You'll blame family. You'll blame your relationship. You'll blame everything. And I speak to those types of business owners on the phone every week where there's probably a couple of them and they blame everything else as to why their business hasn't grown. But it's normally due to their lack of focus and also their lack of gratitude and appreciation for where they're at, how hard they've worked, where they've come from. And they just need the right mindset. If they had that, they'd win the game. Anyway, Driven Mofos, have a great day. Keep kicking ass. Be careful of those types of people. They will destroy your business. They'll destroy your life. They'll destroy your friendships. And if you are one of those people, work on your mindset and stay focused. Have a great day, everyone. Keep kicking ass, and I'll see you on the next episode. Most people waste their life, and I just don't want you to be one of them.